Season 4 of Welcome to Plathville may have just wrapped, but the family feud has just ignited on social media. It is getting messy, y'all. I have so many thoughts. Let's just get into it. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So over the past 4 years, I feel like the best way to describe Welcome to Plathville has been really watching a very quiverful, fundy family implode. And what has been the redeeming quality, the kind of silver lining in all of this, because it's never a good time to watch a family fall apart. But it was really redeeming and good to see that the children were very close and that they were striking out on their own. They were embracing independence and they were really looking out for one another. Well, not so much anymore. And the Plath kids had remained close, and what was so heartwarming to see is the effort that they all went to visit each other, keep in contact with each other, because all of this was despite Barry's and Kim's best efforts to keep them apart. The way that Barry and Kim tried to exert control over their children was to separate them. And if the older kids weren't living the way that Kim and Barry saw fit or saw right, they would deny them access to the younger siblings. It was really messed up. I just talked about the season 4 finale of Welcome to Plathville, and I had pondered in that video, what is the fallout gonna be like? Did Ethan know that Olivia was gonna disclose that credit card story about Kim? Well, it looks like we don't have to wonder much longer because several of the Plath children have taken to Instagram to share a joint statement. Not Ethan, but Micah, Mariah, Lydia, and Isaac have all shared the stories with comments turned off on their Instagram pages. So they write, "We as a family decided to not be divided anymore. There is a lot more to the story than what you all have seen on the show. While we understand that this is a TV show and we are not in control of how the show is edited, we are actually a family and that is full of love and respect for each other. That being said, we as a family are not going to sit back and watch as our family is driven apart. For example, we wanted to clear up something that Olivia said during the last episode. What Olivia said about our mom using Ethan's credit card was not the full story. Mom and Ethan had a business arrangement in which Ethan earned a good bit of money, and both parties were aware of any transactions that were made. Our mom should have had the opportunity to defend herself and tell her side of the story. Some of us kids have been rebels and are finding our place in life and are very thankful to be supported and unconditionally loved by our family, no matter what choices we make or who we become. Please remember that we are human and do make mistakes. Nobody is perfect and we continue to learn and grow with every day. Not one person is at fault. We also have younger siblings that are at very vulnerable ages, and this is not fair nor healthy for them. We've come to the realization that unless we speak up, this cycle will never end. We ask that you have compassion for us and understand that not everything you see on the show is as it actually is in real life. Thank you for your continued support. Family first. With love, the Plath family." I have so many thoughts. Right off the bat, they say, "We as a family have decided to not be divided anymore." Well, where is the statement from Ethan, Olivia, Kim, or Barry? Any of the actual players in the story that they're trying to clarify? None of them have spoken out about this. This is literally just a statement by 4 siblings, 4 of 9. They go on to point out that they don't control how the show is edited, but in that same spirit, neither does Olivia. It was hard for me to actually kind of get through some of the statements in this bigger statement. One was, they talk about how much the family is full of love and respect for each other, and I just eye rolled so heavily. Additionally, they talk about how some of the kids have been rebels, but that they've always been loved, respected, and accepted by their parents, and that's objectively just not true. Let's take a look at some of Kim and Barry's very conditional love that was shown on the show.
Mom's always been used to just being able to be in control of everything, and then with Olivia, she's like losing control. I had got to the point where I was just starving for freedom and like just didn't follow the rules my parents had set. Parents were shielding me from or protecting me or whatever from the outside world. They tried to control like literally everything. What we ate, what we wore, jeans, or any type of tank top was like out of the question. To wear swimsuits were an absolute no.
Probably 3 or 4 months since I've seen my siblings. I'm really not allowed to see my younger siblings unless my parents are there. Still try to keep a positive attitude about it, but it is hard at times.
In terms of our family's rules, that means
no phones for the children, supervised movies, supervised internet, no social media, little to no sugar, appropriate clothing, no video games, and no rock music in the house. And it was likely to me that they might plant seeds of rebellion and bitterness in the younger children. We talked it over with Mike and Mariah and agreed that if they couldn't live with our rules, then they needed to move out. So sometimes I'll go on and I'll just scroll through and see who she's talking to. That's how I saw that she was spending a lot of time texting that boy, probably 100 texts a day, which that was the red flag that I was like, okay, we need to talk about this. That's excessive.
People say bad, nasty things. That's not the person that said them that remembers it. It's the person they were said to. So,
well, if I hurt you, I'm sorry.
Well, it's very nice of you to say that on camera in front of everyone.
Kim and Barry were not willing to have a relationship with the children that defied them. And they weren't willing to allow those siblings that defied them to have relationships with their younger siblings. That is not unconditional love. So I'm sorry, but no, you were not supported and accepted no matter what decisions you made. Quite the opposite, actually. Now let's talk about the credit card incident. They're saying that the story that Olivia told on the show was not the full story. And of course, I'm always a believer that there's 3 sides to every story, right? There's person A's side, there's person B's side, and somewhere in the middle is the actual truth. Of course, I think it's reasonable to believe that Olivia would tell the story in a light that showed her most favorably. With that being said, I don't think that the Plath children that put out this statement accomplished what they thought they were going to accomplish by clarifying this. Their literal explanation is that Ethan had earned quite a bit of money and that Kim was using the card and that both of them were aware of the transactions that were being made, which Olivia said that was never in dispute. The point is that it was Ethan's money and Kim wasn't paying Ethan back. Why is an adult Kim taking money from her child? Who sets up a business with their child and funnels the money all through their child? That just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I would love to hear Kim's side of the story. I mean, they're not disputing that Kim actually did use his card. They're saying he was aware of the transactions. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. This is literally why in the television and entertainment industry, there are rules for how child actors get paid now, so that they're put in special accounts so that parents can't literally rob their children. So, I mean, it's not to say like a parent would never do that because it happens. I just don't think this explanation was the flux that they thought it was. Also, it was your parents that signed everybody up for this TV show. If you want your younger siblings to be taken into consideration, that is a plea that you should direct towards your parents. I haven't seen anybody blasting the younger kids on social media, but I do see Lydia still heading up homeschooling and doing the bulk of the housework. Okay, so after that statement that was put out, like I said, on Micah, Mariah, Lydia, and Isaac's Instagrams, Olivia actually responded to someone who commented on one of her Instagram posts. And someone wrote, "The Plath family post has me worried for you." She responded, "Dysfunctional systems like to protect dysfunction." And Olivia's brother, who's actually, we saw him this season, who was living with them, had this to say. He said, it was a quote that says, be careful what you hear about somebody. You might be hearing it from the problem. This is just really sad to see because, like I said at the beginning of this video, one of the heartwarming things, or what was one of the most compelling things about this show, was the very strong bond that all of the siblings had. So it's very sad to see this kind of shade being thrown around passive aggressively on social media. It's a bummer for sure. Something that is not in dispute here is that Ethan and Olivia definitely bore the brunt of Kim and Barry's extremism. By the time Micah and Mariah were coming of age, they were on the show, and Kim was actively trying to rehab her public image. I think if we're gonna be completely fair to Ethan and especially Olivia, they were the ones that made it possible for Mariah to come into her own. With that being said, like I've said many times in previous videos, Olivia can only set boundaries for herself. She can remove herself from situations. She cannot go to gatherings that will trigger her or make her uncomfortable. But again, she can only do that for herself. She cannot put her viewpoints and her boundaries on anybody else. And if the other children, including her husband, decide that they want to have a relationship with Kim, that is their prerogative and something that they're gonna have to work through as a family if Ethan and Olivia have a prayer of having their marriage work out. And with that being said, I just have to say, there is a big amount of revisionist history that's just happening in this statement. And I really don't think that this is entirely fair to Olivia. I really don't see anywhere in this statement or in the explanation for why Kim was using Ethan's credit card. I don't find the story any less bizarre or problematic based off of the explanation offered. Additionally, saying that your parents loved and supported you is just objectively not true based off of what we've seen on the show. So it does seem that the Plath children that put out this statement are trying to rewrite history a little bit here. We're not really sure where Ethan stands in all of this because he has yet to make a statement. I don't know if he will. Historically on the show, family conflict has made Ethan very uncomfortable, so I can only imagine how tough of a position this has put him in. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I was not a fan of this statement at all. I think everybody has valid reasons to feel a type of way. Olivia has a valid reason to feel the way she feels. I think the Plath kids have a valid reason to feel the way they feel. It's just unfortunate that it seems like they're directing their animosity towards each other when really the people that made this toxic dynamic are Kim and Barry. So anyways, you guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.